Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more Baldur's Gate 3. Now those of you paying attention to the community posts on my channel will be aware that I recorded this episode, I uploaded it, and I wasn't happy with it. So I'm redoing it. There were a number of technical issues related to that episode, and afterwards I discovered a hotfix had been released either the day I recorded that episode or like very shortly afterwards. I don't know if they fixed those things, and it's possible that one or two of those technical issues may relate to me somehow ballsing up uninstalling my mods. So what I might do at the end of Act 2 is just, hey, make this a modded playthrough. It would just be some cosmetic mods with extra character creator options that I'm using in other saves. Nothing changing gameplay balance, introducing new items or anything like that. Except for maybe one special little thing. But we'll see how that goes. Now, so what issues did I have? I went into the Shadowfell, as you saw in the previous episode. And when I was in there, I did not notice that the entire party had permanent featherfall while in the area. And because I had to jump down all of the rocky floating platforms to get to the centre of the area where the main conflict was going to occur, I had Gale cast Featherfall.
Ah, excellent choice.
There it is, on his spell list. When he cast Featherfall, his temporary Featherfall spell replaced the permanent Featherfall spell placed upon us by the area, and when his temporary Featherfall spell ended, the permanent Featherfall spell was not reinstated. Meaning, I probably cast more Featherfall spells than I should have. I shouldn't have cast any, so I'm going to take it off his spell list here and replace it with something else. Something fun. We know we're going against lots of undead. Well, you know what? Burning Hands. Short range. Crowd clearance. Additionally, for that entire episode,
never mind.
The examine function was broken. Right? I could, if I right-clicked on things and I could click, I don't even think the selection arrow on the left on the drop-down menu was there, but I couldn't examine anything. And this is unfortunate because I wanted to check the main enemy's resistances, because I had a sneaking suspicion or two, and was unable to do so. Additionally, something happened later on down there where I really, really wanted to examine a creature to check something, and was unable to do so. I'll save that little tidbit of information for later on. There will be a more relevant time in this episode. Additionally, there was a lot of coughing and spluttering. That's been the case for the last few weeks. It's a winter thing. It's not nice. Essentially, the medicine that I'm taking for my aching bones and skin condition, that's psoriatic arthritis, lowers my immune system, so I'm more prone to catching minor infections. Which means that in winter, coughs and colds and stuff are really nasty. And I end up using my inhaler for my asthma a lot more than I usually would. That being said, yeah, it's just horrid and nasty. Last night I said, hey, if it gets bad, I'll just suck on a propolis lozenge. I'd love to do a manuka honey lozenge, but there's been a shortage of those recently, so if I do have to resort to sucking on something, that obviously means I'll speak less, and I'll kind of talk a bit like this or something, or like stick it with my tongue behind my cheek, inside my cheek, behind my teeth or whatever, to make... I'll try to make sure we can still have an enjoyable experience together. Speaking of enjoyable experiences, there was an event that occurred down in the Shadowfell. I was not happy with the result of the event, but I was willing to accept it. And if this episode feels like I am using the technical issues which I'm about to describe, and have described so far, as a blatantly pathetic excuse to replay the episode and try for a different result, well, maybe I am, but that's not the primary reason for doing this. The primary reason for doing this is that while I wasn't the most pleased with the result of the event, I was willing to accept it. However, later on in the episode, when I returned to camp, all of the party members commented on the event, and their comments did not tally with the outcome I received. They spoke of aspects of the outcome that had not taken place. When the time comes and we are approaching that event, I'll have a little talk about it. So, the things the companions were saying back at camp were in conflict with the events that had occurred. Not greatly in conflict, but mildly in conflict, slightly in conflict. And I think I know why. And if that is correct, that's unfortunate. But essentially, it felt to me like that was an additional technical issue causing problems. So we'd had my complete balls up with the... because literally I went back and checked the video, right? Because later on, after the video, I loaded back the area and went in here to check out something, and discovered I had permanent featherfall, which I hadn't noticed earlier. So I am going to play this again, and I'm going to start by saying something that I'm pretty sure I said in my previous attempt to record this video, which is, we do know there is an evil villain who will follow us in. We know this. I know this. You know this. But Jaria and her companions do not know this. And so, while it may be easier to go back and confront him out here, my actual choice to go in here, do the thing, then come out and confront him afterwards. Obviously, he wasn't going to wait for me to do that, but that was our plan as a party, right? Gale's probably intelligent enough to work out that might happen, but he hasn't really spoken up about it. He's been busy doing his own things, concerned with his suicide mission from Mistra.
What's next?
However, since we are going into the Shadowfell... Ooh, I see empty spell slots. We can probably handle this. I'm going to change some more spell selections. Because we are going into Lady Shah's sacred domain. Well, her unholy domain. And that villain who will be following us in does not belong there. So I am going to take out freedom of movement and replace it with banishment, to literally boot him out of there for a little while we deal with some of his minions. I think those are the only changes I'm going to make to our spell layout. Do we want to go in fully rested?
That's progress.
I think
Direct me.
Shadowheart's the only one missing spell slots.
All right. What now?
So let's head in.
Your party is gathered. You are ready, or so you hope.
You know what? Given the technical issues we have experienced, I'm just going to make sure quickly that I'm recording. There may be a bit of a freeze frame issue here on the video for like a second or two, but it should be fine after that. And I'll probably have to check back and see that it hasn't caused a bother. Right. Here we go. Obviously reminiscent of the beginning of Dark Souls 2.
As you step into the silent water, a foreign dread travels through you.
You notice the stairs just stop.
It curls its way up your leg, squeezing tight.
As does the floor. And while she may resist, she is inevitably dragged down into darkness. Here we are. This looks remarkably similar to the astral realm where the dream visitor was residing.
Lady Shah. I can feel her all around. This is her domain. This is the Shadowfell.
You cleared the way for me, true soul. What promising flesh you are. As a reward, I shall let you bear witness to my masterpiece.
This is the Dark Lady's domain. He does not belong here.
Now, that expression of adoration and love upon her face, as she rose and recognized where she was, that is likely to be a problem for us further in. We know that she has been expressing continued conviction towards a particular course of action. The Dark Lady wishes for her to slay the Night Song with the spear she now bears. And while the Night Song is related to general Ketheric form's immortality, we do not know exactly how that relation is. Is this like the heart of Koshai the Deathless, which is, what is it? It's inside a needle, inside an egg, inside a duck, inside a hare, inside something else. It's like, is it an eagle? I can't remember. But there's a whole chain of events you have to go through to eventually get the needle and snap it, and then he can die. Well, that's Russian mythology and folklore for you, isn't it? So we don't know how the Night Song relates to general form's immortality, and if it is a person, we may speak to it. Additionally, there is another slight issue I should probably bring up about the Night Song. A mod was banned from the largest Baldur's Gate 3 modding site. It's actually probably the largest modding site on the internet these days, because it modified the Night Song. I did not know this until I attempted to record this episode. Well, no, until I attempted to record the previous episode, which you've seen already, hopefully, in which the Night Song was given a name, and then I knew that was the name of the character who had been changed by a mod. This mod made one simple change, which was to turn the Night Song from a woman into a man. And the mod was banned purely for that. Now, I don't know the character well enough to know how much of a significant change that was, but I do know there are a lot of mods on the same site that transform all of the male companions into women. there's a female Astarian, female Gale, female Will mods, even a female Minsk mod. It's like, yeah, we'll get to Minsk later on. Actually, Minsk and Jaheira are one of the reasons why I was reasonably willing to accept the result of the event that occurred down here. And so I think that having the owners of the site practically praise those mods for existing, while removing this one mod that turned one woman into a man, is a bit hypocritical. Additionally, apparently this character has male character models and files in the game that just were not active, and all the mod did was disable the female files, enable the male ones. Essentially, it was using content that was already in the game and just tweaking it. So at some point during the game's creation, this character may have been a man. I'm not really going to say much more about that. Just that as soon as I saw the character, I realised this was the one that the big fuss had been made about. I think they even banned the modder's account just for uploading this one mod. I do know that the character, the modder did it because they wanted to see a positive heterosexual relationship in the game. And I've got to say, this setting, as depicted in this game, does appear to be approaching an extinction level event of same-sex relationships, to the point where you got to wonder who's having the children, right? Probably magic. No, seriously, if two gay guys want to get together and use magic to have a kid, that's fine. Same with two gay women, right? And Forgotten Realms is a very high magic place. Maybe the magic fairies bring the children. I don't know, right? But but essentially, this young Muslim woman was like, I'd like this character to be a man because she has a strong relationship with a woman that's positive, well represented, very wholesome, and I'd just like it to be a little more traditional. It wasn't. And the thing is, I don't know, right? Because we've got this whole thing, and I did think I found out who they are likely to have a relationship with, due to stuff that happened in the aftermath towards the end of the last episode. Is the villain in this chapter, Ketheric Form, supposed to be a villain and evil because he refused to accept his daughter was a lesbian? Is that it? Because it seems to be, and if that's it, if he's being attacked and put down and shown to be wrong in every single way because of that, and that's the reason why he thinks of her as dead and he's lost her, lost his legacy, his ability to go on, and he feels that Lady Shah took everything from him. Is that it? See, I still think it's more like a Ravenloft thing, where this whole area is punishing him for his wickedness. But I just don't know yet, right? I don't know enough to make judgment. So essentially, this nice young woman saying, I would like to see a husband and wife who love each other very much, represented in the game. Yes, actual representation of an excluded minority, because in this game, traditional heterosexual relationships do seem to be, well, I wouldn't say the minority, but almost as if they're ashamed to acknowledge them or speak about them, which is very interesting. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm saying it would be interesting to explore a story in a world where such traditional relationships were, in fact, shameful and something not to be. So, like, maybe a tribe of Amazons or something, because, the Amazons, they used to, the Amazons from Greek mythology, that is, not Marvel superheroes, DC Comics bullshit, whatever you call it, right? The Amazons would capture men and treat them as servants or even slaves and use them for breeding when they wanted to make new Amazons. And hey, sometimes the kids were boys, right? But it's like, I don't know enough about this person, and I don't know enough about the story of the game as a whole yet to pass judgment on that. And if I do know enough to pass judgment, maybe I don't need to waffle on about it here, right? You guys are here to enjoy the game. So, obviously, Jaria was not expecting to see this evil bastard shitface of doom appear. So she's going to ask, how did you get here?
Simple. I followed you. It seems Shah bears a grudge against my master, General Thorm, and so sought to prevent me from entering in his name. Luckily, you were the perfect agent in helping me slip past her defenses. Now the Night Song is within reach.
And I can't believe I've gone this far without mentioning Baron Harkonnen from Dune floating around like a fat blubbery thing. That's quite an elaborate setup. Is the relic truly worth it?
There is not a shadow of a doubt. But don't take my word for it. Come, see for yourself.
And he drifts away. Now, I seem to recall that he is undead. And I wanted to check if he had any elemental
As
resistances.
if the softest push could send me drifting away.
That dialogue line there is a strong hint that we now all have permanent featherfall. I either didn't notice that hint last time round, or the line didn't play. I could probably go back and watch the footage actually and check, but we now have permanent
Don't waste a
featherfall,
step.
and also cannot fast travel from this area. Let us traverse the Shadowfell. So these, Justicia Avenger, are dark disciples of. They are what Shadowheart wishes to become. These are ghosts or echoes of them,
Just a little bit further.
and they do say
See
different
my actions,
conflicting
Lady
things.
Shah. Hear my words of faith.
They say listen to her. They could mean listen to Lady Shah, or they could be warning us to listen to the Night Song, the Song of the Night. They also say things like kill her.
Witness my adoration.
This is like a religious pilgrimage for her. This is a very important thing. Oh, how the blessing of Saloon must hurt her so. Must gall her to have to rely upon it in these darkest parts of Shadow. Now let's take a really nice long jump. And wait for everyone to catch up. So kill her, descend to her, look upon her. And they all fade
Emptied
away
my heart of falsehoods.
at our approach. Really now? She's emptied her heart of falsehoods. All the lies she's been telling. Is she now going to be honest at last? Because surely the deceit and trickery and lies are what Lady Shah appreciates. So, to approach with honour and sincerity, that is not required of the Dark Justiciars. We have listened to her and killed her. These are conflicting in some ways.
Descend to
She's reluctantly tagging along behind. It's as if she's hanging back in trepidation, knowing the difficult tasks that will lie ahead of her.
I have banished your foes.
Now, I know she's lagging a bit because she's the fourth party member. Well, in formation. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Bless me. Right. How
Maybe she's a more sharp.
delightful it is to land that bone-shattering crunch. So, he is undead. He is resistant to all physical attacks and immune to poison, nothing else. Oh, I also wanted to check. Charisma and strength would be good saves to target. Constitution and intelligence would be bad. And the Night Song has soul caged. This creature is greatly weakened by their imprisonment in a soul cage. She has literally 1 hit point. Now, in the previous episode, which you saw, she was taken out by some kind of area of effect spell during the fight here because he cast something like Cloud Kill. We're going to need to focus heavily on dispelling his spells. Additionally, a number of these foes that will appear, the tall gigantic ones, like kicking us off the edge, and they can dash then kick as well. That's going to be a problem. So we're going to have to do what we can.
You may find yourself.
Balthazar, come to add more bars to my cage? Or perhaps to lead this would-be Justicia's blade directly to my heart? I invite you. Heap more sins upon your head. My retribution will be all the sweeter for them.
All this time, and you still fail to appreciate the gifts I bestowed on you, Aelin. Sad to see a thing of beauty not recognize its own worth. But General Thorn, he appreciates you, and he wants you close at hand. So, I am here to whisk you back to him.
Ketherick. I welcome the sight of him after these 100 years. He whose immortality I supply with my very soul.
General Thorn. I'm sure you'll be on your best behavior for him, but just in case, I've taken some precautions. Keep back. It will take quite some concentration to secure Aelin for her little journey.
Now, she's literally said that her existence powers his immortality. This implies she may be immortal too. In which case, Shadowheart should really question attempting to kill an immortal being. What will happen? They'll just get back up. I mean, she's literally seen what happens when she tries to do it to... When the goblins tried to kill General Form. Additionally, right, if Shah and Saloon are both 2 different aspects of the same goddess, and this is the daughter, right, because, was it Shah creates the Night Song? This is a test, right, to see how evil Shadowheart truly is. She's passing through the valley of the fear... Oh, what is it? Lo, if I pass through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Pilgrim's Progress, you know. So as she's passing through the valley of the shadow of death, highly appropriate in this case, is the test to not try to kill the Night Song, and prove that she alone, among so many devout worshippers of Shah, is worthy to actually be redeemed and be welcomed in by the kind, welcoming aspect of Saloon, who says, I'm sorry I put you through a hard time, but I needed to really know you were good enough for this. Either way, it's time to stop this evil madman. She is a person, not a thing to be used. By my oath, she will be freed, not on it, by it. Because it is an action I am swearing to take. So, what's the difference? This is actually a really good thing that comes up in The Lord of the Rings, not the films, where Gollum offers to swear loyalty on the precious. And Frodo says, no, you will not swear on it, you will swear by it. In court, when you see people place their hand on the Bible and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, they are swearing on the Bible. They're literally laying their hand on it while they speak the oath. And they are like, I will never touch this again if I'm lying. That's how important this is to me. Right? Swearing by it is the same, except without the additional requirement to hold it and physically touch it. Because you have a conscience. All of us do. Even those of us who don't seem to have much of a conscience. We do have one. It's just a bit harder to find or hidden away. So for instance, if a man says, by my beard, he means he will literally shave his beard off if the vow is broken. He doesn't mean he won't grow it back again afterwards, although actually with that oath he probably does mean that. But by my beard would mean he's literally holding it as well, clinging onto it. On my beard. Would be literally holding it, clinging onto it, saying, no, I'm really going to keep this. This is really important to me. Because you can tell, right? It's a test. Swearing on something, you can see how serious someone is in a more religious former age, where these things have great meaning, right? Like, if you swear on the Bible, then if you're never going to touch the Bible again, if you're lying or if the oath is broken, you're going to go to hell when you die. This is important. To swear by something is one thing. To swear on something is much rarer. It's a much more intense oath, because all the witnesses present will see if you are reluctant to touch the thing and unwilling to commit. They will tell that you're not you can't seriously take the oath, and they will know that you are lying. So it's a sign of confidence to swear on something rather than by it. Now, in The Lord of the Rings, Gollum obviously only wants to swear on the precious because he wants to get his hands on it and steal it and run away and take it. And Frodo, quite wisely, says, no, I'm not going to let you touch this. You rip it off me and kill me. No, you can see it. And he's generous enough to let him see it when he swears the oath. He doesn't even need to do that, because when Gollum is swearing by the precious, he's literally claiming that if he tells a lie, if this oath is broken, he will never covet it again or desire it or want it. He will have to give up all claim on it. And he was maliciously and manipulatively trying to beg them to let him touch it, claiming he would make such an oath as soon as it was in his possession. So, by my oath, on my oath is stronger. But the oath is not a physical thing here I can possess and cling on to. Although for Jaria, as a character of deep religious conviction, maybe it is. In the same way that paladins are always touching themselves. Lay on hands, it's like, well, my hand is always in contact with itself. I don't need to, physically... obviously, but yeah. It's like in Pathfinder, how lay on hands is a free action on yourself, but a standard action to apply to anyone else. So, she will be free.
Person? Please. You insult her. You insult me. Aelin is so much more than that. She is an Asimar, bound to a soul cage of my creation, and lending her immortal strength to General Thorn.
Her immortal
Her
strength.
power, his will, and my genius. An unsurpassable feat.
Ramblings most unsane. Poor Balthazar. For maggots ate his brain long ago.
Hold your tongue, Aelin, or I'll take it away from you again. And you, no more questions. No more interference.
I won't interfere with you, I'll just stop you. You shall torture this angel-born being, no longer necromancer.
The arrogance of divinity. Your patron will not hear your prayers when I add you to my undying retinue, godling.
She actually got angry. Now, initiative. We have death by initiative. Ah! What's he going to do? He's going to cast Ray of Sickness on Will. That's a fairly minor spell. It will do heavy damage, but I will allow it. Poisoned. We can work on poison. He's going to cast Ray of Sickness on Jaria. Again, I will allow it. This is the kind of spell that I can comfortably heal up from and recover. Especially if he misses. Right, this is bad. Standing here near the edge, very bad. What we want to do is not get booted off. What we really want to do is say, "You have no place here!" And he's banished. Or banished. Now, what I'm going to do is sidle through to here, so that this one can't kick me off unless he walks around. We can go a little... Wait. No, because there's one over there. Shield of Faith is a wonderful spell, but it's a concentration spell, as is Banishment. Let's just end our turn there. Okay, minor damage. We can live with that. Now, Gale, my friend. What are we going to do here? Let's think about this. That's 48 hit points of hell. These minor individuals will block... So we want to get away from the edges. Dimension Door is a lovely spell. We also have a number of enemy groups to contend with. So, Sentinel, Librarian, Sentinel. Librarian, Sentinel, Sentinel, Librarian. If we can get those two Librarians to group up. So, what we want to do is check the range on Cone of Cold. Okay, it's about that long. So if we are standing here, we can't get all three. We may be able to get these two. We can definitely get these two. So if I don't have Dimension Door prepared. So, scroll. I know Jaria has a scroll of Dimension Door. What I could just do is chuck a fireball over there. Thus shortening the initiative bar significantly. Also, walk down to there. Misty Step, of course. You know what? There are significantly less enemies here now, but we want this one to come over here first.
Survival is all that matters.
Now, there are so many undead. vaporize that one. We'll come back over here to get this one. And then I think we need to be heading... This shouldn't be affected twice. Okay, fine. There we go. Are there any of these which are not concentration spells? I have a party member who is injured. There we go. That's got to help. So we need to be working on crowd clearance with low level... Oh shit, you fucking asshole. Who was that? That was Will. Okay. Don't you dare, mate. So, problems abound. Ray of Frost, we can take a Ray of Frost. Even if it hits. Again, the initiative bar continues to be reduced. I am fine with this. It's a cantrip. Oh, but it could have broken her concentration and brought the necromancer back sooner. Okay. Here's what we need to do. Turn undead. And then just go. And end our turn. Gale. This is a scroll of Revivify. We will use it on Will and place him here. Then we will cast Misty Step. The target will not be a creature. The target will be this space over here.
Let's light them up.
We want to be taking out this lot with him soon.
Nothing will stand in my way.
Will is very badly hurt. I have spells for this. Will is the only one who is hurt. And if I come stand back over here and bring the Spirit Guardians with me, that's... I don't want to get kicked off by this one. Sure, we'll try hit him with the shield. It never works, but we tried. Okay, that's bad news for us, but... Blindness? You know what? Yeah, we're going to stop that. Only a level 3 counter, though. Oh, sure, you rattle your bones at us. We can live with that. Ray of Frost? It's a cantrip. We'll take it. He's back! Well, we can't have that now, can we? So, I could just banish him again. 65%. Or... I see 4 hit points. Wait. Turned? Not turned. Right. And we'll do some healing here. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. You evil bastard. And you. Well... I see two foes who are ripe for incineration. Ripe, I say. Well, I'm going to hit that one. No smite. Oh, seriously? Okay. Yeah, should die on his turbo, right? And now that 3 party members are injured, let's just heal everyone. Love it. Double love it. So, once again I've neglected to use Will's special ability, so how about we... Didn't quite hurl it over the edge, but, you know, essentially if they're going to do that, 2 can play at that game, right? Oh, hey, I didn't notice. Well, I did, but I didn't expect him to have a viable attack. Fine, I'll stay down here then and not go for it on that one. You coming back in? You are! Excellent! Blindness? Yeah, we don't like that. We'll go a level 4. Pretty sure blindness is only level 3 spell, but... we really need to be shutting down his spells, though, with high level counters.
I shall live to regret this. Perhaps not for long.
Yep, I regret that. Now, I mean, it's just as if they want another fireball. And now,
You can take me on.
hit him hard. Oh yes! So what we want really at this point is this. And then we can blast away. There's a second one up here as well. He's got the range there. Blindness, sure, but that's getting very costly now. We're going to have to shut down this necromancer hard when it's his turn. Oh, blinded is great. What's he doing? Animate dead? Oh yeah, fuck that. Will says no. Yeah, fuck it. There we go.
Fool! You think striking down my body will be the end of me?
Now, until he said that, I genuinely had thought that. This, of course, is to make me question. This is to make me not even have to cast Inflict Wounds. Hey, you. Excellent. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start coming down a bit.
Still breathing, despite everything. Swift as my feet can carry me.
And we're going to invoke the Sacred Flame. Now only 2 foes remain. who know what needs to be done.
Got to move.
You'll notice that I've moved carefully to avoid spirit guardians overlapping her, just in case they hurt her. She's not particularly flagged as an enemy, but it could still be the case.
With haste.
I'm thinking this might be a cantrip too far. Nope.
On my way.
It gets another turn. Okay, Will, you've kind of earned this. Now,
No one back home will ever believe this.
Shadowheart has gained a level. We're not going to apply that level yet. This feels like the perfect situation to apply the level afterwards. I do, however, want to shut down these.
No time to rest.
Now, this here is the event which had a result I did not like. I was willing to accept the result, but the game didn't seem to be willing to accept the result and was giving me mixed messages about it. Obviously what's going to happen here is going to involve the Night Song, and Shadowheart's going to want to do something. She has been instructed by her goddess to sink her spear into the heart of this immortal creature. A test, a trial that every other Dark Justicia has done. However, if this creature is immortal, and as is about to be revealed by this creature, she's the one who's been killed every time. Obviously, this would be a very bad thing, and we don't want Shadowheart to do this bad thing. We want to persuade her to do something better. One particular route in the conversation involves a difficulty 30 persuasion check. And even with guidance, we're looking at +6. So the most we could get is a 26 with an extra 1 to 4 from guidance. So 27 to 30 max on a natural 20. A natural 20 always succeeds, so that basically, even if you rolled a 20, it wouldn't matter how much we got from guidance. Yeah, if we rolled an 18 or 19, guidance could roll anything, it would still be a fail, right? That's a 5% chance, and while we have some inspiration points, 3 times 5% is still 3 times 95% chance of failure. There are other paths to recover. So, I'll tell you now. What happened last time was Shadowheart turned against the party and attacked us. I had the entire party turn on non-lethal damage so we could knock her out without killing her. However, I could not examine her to see if she was temporarily hostile or permanently hostile, because as we now know, characters who are temporarily hostile regain consciousness when you leave the area. Characters who are permanently hostile die when you leave the area. I knocked Shadowheart out, and later on I went to camp, and all the party members told me how they were very sorry that Shadowheart had experienced such a bad thing, and that Lady Shah had called her unworthy, called her nothing, disowned her. Which literally hadn't happened on camera. Could have happened off camera, right? Could have happened off screen. This is all fine. And they all said, you know, Shadowheart's very upset and drained and physically weak. We need to look after her and support her while she recovers. she was not in camp. She was completely absent. In camp, the button to access party members who are not currently in the party, she wasn't on the list. I could not right-click an item and say send Shadowheart. She was literally missing from the list. And in the quest log, her companion quest, Daughter of Darkness, was marked as complete, and down here in the complete section, with the final entry reading Shadowheart turned against the party. But the entire party spoke as if she was still with us and still alive. Now, it's entirely possible that she had been temporarily removed from the party and would reappear after the remaining events in Act 2 as Act 3 began. However, it also felt like there was a completeness to her story there, if it was rather abrupt. Now, I was reasonably happy to play on without her. I was willing to lose a party member, especially as I know there are 2 party members we can get later on who are characters from the original 2 games of the series, and quite a lot of fun, and I would be looking forward to them, and they'd obviously be people I wouldn't have in the party at the same time as them, due to party size limitations, among other reasons. And also there's been, I think, a few times in the past where I've mentioned that we don't really need 2 clerics in the party. So I was reasonably willing to accept her loss, especially as Lady Shar is the Lady of Loss and Secrets and Darkness. However, a couple of things, right? When I was playing this last night, I thought, you know what? There's a really easy way, potentially an exploitable way, to make sure Shadowheart doesn't take any actions that we don't want her to do, which is
I wonder what the next move
to
is.
have her initiate the conversation. I didn't do that because it felt like an exploit and a cheat. I did try it off camera a little while ago before recording this episode, and it just defaults to the main character. And the game's like, hey, we know what you're trying to do there. So I'm willing to play through this section and get the same result as last time if the party members back at camp actually acknowledge it and don't treat it as if something else happened. So the inconsistency with the accounts of my fellow heroes and heroines is one of the main things that led me to want to re-record this episode. Now, there's also the other technical issues with messing up the featherfall, the examine feature literally not working on anyone in this area in the previous episode. So when she left the party, I couldn't tell if this was a temporary thing or permanent. And also, for some reason, when clicking on the camp button, these buttons were blinking out of existence as I moused over them and not functioning properly. So there was definitely some AI issue, some UI, user interface issues going on in the last episode, which is my main reason for recording this. However, this does offer an opportunity to try and save Shadowheart's soul, a possibility for redemption. And after the whole Minthara situation, it was when we got back to camp. This is why I may have mentioned in my community post, I don't want another whole Minthara situation here. The Minthara situation I was referring to was the fact that party members would be referring to Shadowheart as if she was still alive and still with the party. I'm perfectly happy to say that she was knocked unconscious and slunk off like Minthara to go hide in the shadows somewhere and hate us and hate herself even more. But to have everyone else pretend she was still alive for a little while and then just not talk about it at all after that felt wrong. So let's see how this will play out. Also, I'm going to be moderately brave and not save scum here. I'm just going to go right into it. Here we go.
Balthazar has drawn his final rancid breath. A pity it was not my hand that brought it about. Instead, it was you. You, who have come to seek the praise of your wicked goddess. You, who have come to drive a dagger through my heart.
Not a dagger, a spear. My Lady Shah's spear. Her fate is mine to seal. Let me handle this.
The fate you seal is your own. To be a Dark Justiciar is to turn your heart from everything but loss. You will know no love, no joy, only servitude, until of course your mistress inevitably discards you. And there is much she does not tell you. A terrible blood price that may extend beyond my own death.
You feel Shadowheart bristling. This is important to her. But your bond is strong. You may yet be able to sway her from the path of duty to the path of light. And Nightsong is not blind to your conflict. Behind that raging heart is the restless beat of one who knows too well that her fate hangs in the balance.
So we have a number of options here, and there's reasons for my thinking here. I'll talk over this, right? This is the let her do what she wants and don't interfere option, right? Yeah, trust Shadowheart, do not interfere. I would love to trust her to make a decent choice here, a decent decision. She is, however, very heavily motivated at this point, and I feel I have to do something to warn her of the great error she may be about to commit. Do as you must. This sounds like I'm approving of her action, but really, if I'm saying the thing she must do is to not carry out this action, am I giving her my blessing, or am I saying, do the right thing, think about this? The very fact you're hesitating should be important here. I can ask her, is this truly what you want? Yes, it blatantly is. Now, I did not take this, when I previously recorded this episode, I did not click this option because I did not know if this was a final dialogue option or one that led to further conversation. If it was a branch of conversation rather than a, I say, is this what you want? She says yes and stabs a woman, right? Or is this, I say, is this what you really want? Then we can talk about it a bit more. This is the dangerous conversation option. This is the difficulty 30 persuasion skill check option. Choose your own way, Shadowheart. You can't allow your goddess to control you. She's a cleric. That's literally what she does. And Jari should know this as a priestess herself. Now, at this point, she's saying, you have misguided faith. This may be a shocking, horrific revelation for you. I am challenging your faith. And that doesn't mean that you need to... This, asking her, begging her not to do this, beseeching her, she's made it clear on a number of occasions that she has been brought up and indoctrinated to believe compassion is weakness. She may not respond kindly to this. Also, you'll notice her gauntlets are removed here so that we can see the dark spot on her hand. It is important. The dark mark gives her pain at certain points when certain actions are being taken. Usually it's anything to do with Saloon. Oh wait, is it? No. It was... because Sacred Places of Saloon were where it did not happen. And it was to do with worship of Shah and other gods that the pain was caused. Oh, let's see, I can't remember. I think it's like a mark from Saloon to warn her she's doing bad things. Well, a mark from Shah, who is Saloon, to warn her. You know, it's like a guidance thing that she's been ignoring and not understanding fully. This leads to an extremely antagonistic response, an almost impossible difficulty 30 skill check. As far as I'm aware, each of these three options can lead to her turning against the party and fighting to the death. There are a number of times in the story when non-lethal damage does not make sense, and it makes sense for certain characters to outright perish. For instance, General Form is a perfect example here. It makes great sense for him to not be knocked out and to be actually dead, to break the curse. Just as it would make sense for the Night Song to die if impaled upon the spear. But she is immortal, so that may not be the case. Well, there have been claims made to her immortality. Shadowheart, is this truly what you want?
Yes, I think so. My whole life's been leading to this. No turning back now.
She wavered. There was uncertainty there. Please, Shadowheart, don't do this.
If I have to step over your corpse to fulfill what Lady Shah asks of me, so be it. Your choice.
This third option is the fight to the death. Or to her being banished for the rest of the act, then turning up later. I don't know, right? I can say I support you. I'm wholeheartedly behind you. I can say if you want to fight, we'll fight. If that's the only way I can prevent you from doing this. Or, and at this point, we need to be her guardian angel, her conscience, giving voice to the thoughts she may be having herself. This is wrong. So very wrong. I cannot condone what you're about to do, but I can't afford to lose you the same way I lost Minthara and have lost so many things. Even if it would be really fitting for the Lady of Darkness to take you away from me, to take me away from you, to complete that dedication to loss and lack. Do what you must do. I'm not going to stop you, but it's your choice to make. Your decision.
Well, well, well. What's that I sense? A spear intended for my heart? Empowered by your goddess, I. Empowered to kill the child of a god. Do you know what I am, little assassin? For I know you. A lost child. Frightened by wolves in the dark.
What did you say?
Much has been promised to you, hasn't it? But what has been taken from you? What do you know of your own heart? Your own life? I sense more in you than you know.
Whatever you think you know of me won't matter once I become who I'm meant to be.
Is that truly the case? Now, this is not a difficulty 30 persuasion check. It's a difficulty 21 persuasion check. This, I'm not sure this will sway her. It might, but in that case, why is this option here, right? Spare her and see what she has to say. That's the persuasive part of this line, but there's no dice roll. Don't do it, Shadowheart. Don't kill her. You'll regret it. Or does this lead to... I can't... It's only difficulty 21. And to add insult to injury, we can actually get Shadowheart to cast guidance on us for this one. That feels wrong. That feels like that should not be available. There's other times, like when you're trying to pry into her mind with the tadpole earlier, where you used to be able to let her cast guidance on you in early access, and that was disabled, so you had to do it yourself. I'm not going to insult her by having her try to help me persuade her. Even though that's kind of how persuasion works, right? You use an angle that they already want to be true, right? Okay, I'm going to try this. I've got some inspiration points. If I fail 3 times, I fail 3 times. Okay, that's not... Oh, there we go. There was a... After that initial 13, there was a 1 in 4 chance that would have failed. This could be rather meaningful and impactful upon this young woman's life. And we see the dark mark, from which the spear is now created. This must be devastating for her.
I can't believe I just did that. Lady Shah will disown me. What will happen to me?
Not what will happen. What will you do? Your past is not yet lost. Your future is not yet fixed. Lay a hand on me in friendship, not quite Sharon. And I will fight the battle that has been waiting for me this last century. Then, oh then, we will have much to discuss.
The dark mark is still on her hand. It has not gone.
Our Lady of Silver, hear me. She who guides the Moon Maiden Selûne, mother of the so-called Night Song. The Night Song is no more! Resplendent. You have given me a great gift, little warrior. Don't you find it oh so curious that you would spurn your dark lady? Perhaps you feel a stirring of the truth already. But that will come later. There is a battle yet to be fought. You have done what we feared was impossible. You have released me from a century of sorrow. Your power is great. So too must be your weapon. You must choose what you will wield. And the Moon Maiden will provide. Thus I have said. Thus will it be so. Are you ready?
I won't be greedy. To get out of this place? Ready for what, exactly?
To kill Ketheric Thorn.
She's a very angry angel. And if any of you were wondering
We need to
why...
leave. Lady Shah won't stand for us to be here, not after what we did.
If any of you were wondering why the Azamar is not available as a playable race in this game, but Tieflings are, as I mentioned earlier, you know, you present the races that are appropriate for the story being told. If Shah is angry, she's being remarkably quiet about it. I probably shouldn't say that, because back in camp, our fellow companions were speaking about how Lady Shah denounced Shadowheart. But maybe a little comfort is what she needs right now. If Shah is angry, she's being remarkably silent about it.
That's what frightens me. She must be angry. Yet, I don't feel it. Or hear it.
Oh,
There's only silence.
the anger and hatred
Let's
is
get
in
out
yourself.
Of here, please. Whatever's coming, I don't want to be in the heart of the Shadowfell when it finds me. The Night Song will be headed for Moonrise Towers. We'd better get there and see what she's unleashed against Ketheric Thorn.
So, I now have the same technical issue I had last time, whereby I'm in a conversational cutscene, but not in a conversational cutscene. Because there was a confirmation pop-up box for the reward. Previously I switched to another character, claimed it, and then the cutscene continued. Here she rises. In many ways her wrath is justified. This is righteous, heavenly fury. But she seemed to be too focused on the anger. The darkness recedes as she flies over the land, bathing it in her pure moon-like glow. Jaheira turns her eyes to her old swords, unused for some time, knowing the time has come to take up the blade. And here at Moonrise Towers, some serious shit's about to go down.
A powerful ally. Well chosen, Shadowheart.
Not sure who said that. Can I? I can't. Well, there we go. And now she's free to level up. Let's get out of here before anything... Well, we'll see what happens.
Breathe deep and move.
So as I said, previously, Shadowheart was lying unconscious on the floor right over there. And in camp, the party members referred to her as if she was still alive, but she was no longer a part of the party. I imagine that is a result a great number of players will have experienced, and it does feel very inconsistent, that we shall see what happens this time.
Forgive me. Shadowheart, what happened? You were missing for a moment.
I thought I was done for. I thought perhaps I might have been dead. This is all like some sort of terrible dream. But it's real, isn't it? I stood before the Night Song. I heard Lady Shah's words. And I failed her. Worse than failed her, I defied her. Just because of what that Aasimar said. I tried to leave, but Shah blocked me. Punished me for failing her. I thought I knew the limit of pain that the incurable wound could inflict, but I had no idea. It felt like I was suffering the agony of 1,000 people all at once. My blood was boiling, my hair was on fire. I thought I'd claw my own face off with the pain. But then she released me. Banished me, more like. She said I was an outcast. That all of her children would know me and revile me.
Shadowheart looks distraught. abandoned by her goddess and all former allies. And as for her divine magic, admitting who empowers her now may break her spirit for good.
This seems to be what party members were referring to back at camp, when she had left the party and was unconscious. I don't know if this should have occurred, if she should have rejoined the party after being knocked out, or if she was permanently gone. It's possible that we were supposed to just kill her in that fight, and there to be... But because she was still alive, the party members were reacting as if she was still part of the party, even though she wasn't. So what have we here? You are not alone. You have me. How about you have us? We care for you. We love you. You made your choice. Now you have to live with it. That's a bit harsh. We're all alone in the end, unless you count the tadpole. Jokey, probably not what she needs right now. If it's any consolation, I think you did the right thing. I never thought you'd actually defy Shah. What was going through your head? Now is probably not the right time to have that conversation with her. Is this overly selfish? It shows her that someone cares for her. And she needs that right now. She'll probably think that, mortal fondness and affection is nothing compared to the divine love she was experiencing. I think this could make her bitter. So there seems to be no good option here. You're not alone. You have me.
I suppose I do, don't I? You've done more to help me than my faith has in recent times, if I'm honest. Thank you. There's been something between us for some time. A connection. More than friends. I recognized it, but didn't act on it. I thought my faith was the most important thing in my life. I couldn't have been more wrong. I've squandered too much time already. I want to be with you. Now and always. Do you want the same?
If you'll have me, then I do. I've wanted this for a long time, apparently.
It wasn't too long ago that I could never imagine smiling again. Shows what I know. Nightsong promised she'd tell me something about myself. I need to speak with her as soon as I can. What she said to me back in the Shadowfell about the wolves, that's no coincidence. She took flight to hunt down Ketheric Thorm. All I can do is help hasten his demise, and hope that answers soon follow.
This is our generic dialogue. But this is likely to give a very different answer. How are you feeling?
Do you really need to ask? I'm sorry. I have a lot on my mind. The Shadowfell, Nightsong. I can think of little else.
I don't need to ask, but I think she might need to answer the question. I'm worried you're not yourself. And that's not necessarily... I need you to focus. Nightsong has some explaining to do. Perhaps you should try to appease Shah. We'll see. You know, you've got to be right. The Nightsong did mention your fear of wolves, just like you told me. That can't be a coincidence. I don't think she's a mindflayer reading my mind and getting the information. She must know another way.
That's not the first time you've made such a leap. I don't know. Maybe it's a Selûnite trick, or another way for Lady Shah to test my faith.
Maybe it's not just Lady Selûne who's being dishonest here. You're too quick to find excuses for Shah. She turned on you. I don't need to say this. She'll either work it out for herself or she won't. The Night Song will be able to give you answers when the time comes.
The sooner I speak to Night Song, the sooner I'll know what the future holds for me. Assuming I have a future at all.
Let's just leave it at that for now. Now, in theory, we should need to never go in there ever again. I should have also looted the evil necromancer's body, however. Upon his body there is a bell which he can use to summon a powerful golem, which only works in the Gauntlet of Shah, therefore it will not work in the Shadowfell, which is why he did not use it. So maybe encountering him there was the best thing to do. Now that Shadowheart is still with us, I need to give a little thought to who I will take with me to Moonrise Towers. It would make obvious sense to take Will because he wants to rescue his father.
Just a brief respite.
It would also make sense to
Let's get on with it.
properly rest and replenish all our spell slots before going there.
Touch.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
So Will wants to rescue his father. Karlach wants to destroy the cult, but I sense she's a bit more of an Act 3 character and her story will develop more there in Baldur's Gate itself. Shadowheart now wants to go speak with the Night Song as soon as possible. And that probably means making sure the Night Song survives the battle at Moonrise Towers. Let us return to camp and get a proper long rest in. And camp says we don't have enough supplies. Camp lies. And maybe that's okay.
Shadowheart suffers. You might be surprised, but it pains me to see. Now, what would you ask of me?
That was surprisingly open and honest of you, Lae'zel. I appreciate your honesty. As a warrior, it would be nice to have Lae'zel with us. Her ability scores are depleted because of getting messed up by the Zayfisk. Consuming more mindflayer parasites might remove these conditions. Might. However, we cannot persuade her to do so. Yeah, we just get a notification that this character does not want to produce parasites. In another playthrough in Act 1 I learned that you can persuade unwilling characters to use the mindflayer parasites, but only after you've used one yourself. And I am not using them in this playthrough. This is a purity run.
Very well.
We'll see how that turns out in the end.
I suppose it was only a matter of time until Shah took vengeance. For the Lady of Loss, she does not like losing.
That implies something has happened since we left the Shadowfell. Something in camp here.
Poor Shadowheart. The gods are nothing if not vindictive in their vengeance.
Yeah, these are the same dialogue lines the party members were giving me when I'd knocked her out in the Shadowfell, and the game seemed to be considering her dead. I will pick up some food. These things look good. Ish. There we go. Now we should still check up on everyone in camp and see how they're doing, apart from Volo. We know he's just waiting for something.
Shah's ire has shaken Shadowheart. And yet she goes on. There is untold strength there, I feel.
Some of them had more than one dialogue client, 2 or 3 I think. I think Karlak had quite a few. She's over here now, so I suppose I can find out. Obviously there's someone we should speak to last, but it would be nice to get everyone's show of support.
I have something to ask.
I hate seeing Shadowheart suffer like this. All for doing the right thing. It's up to us to look after her now. If she needs a rest, we carry her. If she needs a hand, she has ours. If she needs ears, we've got 4 between us. Whatever she needs.
Yeah, so that was like 3 lines, right? It would almost be nice to have Karlak come along to show support for Shadowheart, especially as she expressed initial admiration when they met.
Shah called Shadowheart nothing. But I know better than that. She is something. She is worthy. She is strong. She is Shadowheart. Nothing can take the her from her. Not even a goddess.
Shadowheart is a name bestowed upon her by the Sharans, or a by-name, a way name, a travel name. So a by-name is a name you go by rather than your own name, right? It's a name you use when traveling to avoid having... Actually, this is, again, from Middle-earth, right? The dwarfs in Middle-earth have 3 names. They have their birth name that their parents gave them. They have a secret coming-of-age ritual where a dwarven priest whispers their true name into their ear. And they have their by-name, their travel name, their name that they use when encountering an approach, you know, when traveling around in the wilderness, when they meet people away from home, that's the name they use when they're meeting those people. And most dwarfs are known by their by-name, their travel name, their way name, essentially. Because that's all people know, and most people don't know they have 3 names. So Shadowheart, apart from being a word name, is probably a by-name, one she goes by to avoid her real identity coming up. Her real identity which she may have forgotten, having had memories removed. Let's see how she's doing.
You wanted something?
I'm here for you if you need me. I thought you might have needed reminding after everything that's just happened.
Thank you. I think any attempts at comforting me might be in vain just now. But you're sweet to keep me in your thoughts.
After what we expressed earlier, I think it's only fair. Now let's get some rest. I'm not going to go around again and talk to everyone because those... Right. In the prior attempt to record this episode, they all expressed those lines of dialogue in the nighttime camp, not the daytime camp. If I auto-select 43, we can change that, surely. Okay. Split. 41. Okay, okay, we've got to be a bit more fussy here. Right. Is there a 2? I think it's berries is a 2, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. $31. Oh! There we go. So what revolting mixture of arsehole clenching constipation have we got here then? Sausages, alcohol, more alcohol, more alcohol, more alcohol, some blueberries, a butter bun, some more sausages, a mushroom, and at least some potatoes. So we can have some mashed potatoes or fried potatoes or something. Okay, so we got a bit of roughage in there to help. And now I'm going to need to decide who to take with me into the next episode. Shadowheart is leveled, but a cleric level doesn't feel appropriate right now. It doesn't feel fair to choose what to do about level until after the assault on Moonrise Towers. That also probably means the rest of us... Oh? She was just catching up? Oh, or did I just not take it because I wanted to... Yeah, because the last 4 levels, 4-level multiclassing blocks. I still feel I want to hold off on that level then. Tricky. I mean, yeah, I know we could respec with Withers. But I'm going to end the episode here. Spend some time in between episodes deciding who's going to come with me to the assault on Moonrise Towers. But this will probably be the last Baldur's Gate 3 episode this week, because tomorrow night will be Thursday night when I don't get to record anything because I'm running my Pathfinder game. And then Friday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be recording Resident Evil 4, which will go up on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then on Monday night, I will finally get to record Baldur's Gate 3 again. So I'm going to have like half a week to think about this. So I think the best thing for me to do is just end the episode and start that thinking. I hope you've all enjoyed this one, and I hope you won't judge me too harshly for taking a slightly different approach to that event and gaining a different result. There were technical issues of the previous episode, and I wasn't happy with those, but those did feel like an excuse for the course of action that I chose, which was to re-record it, so yeah. Okay. I do still have a recording of the bad episode, where I couldn't examine things. Maybe at some point, if people really want to watch that, I'll upload it. It won't be that different to this one, apart from everything playing out. The last 40 minutes of it are rather different, because Shadowheart's missing. And everyone's talking as if she's still present. Also, I am going to do something before any of the episode. Where, oh where, we were given a special weapon. The Moonlight Glaive. A reward for mercy. It is going to be a two-handed polearm, so I should be reluctant about giving her that, because that's a nice shield for her to use.
Can't give up now.
But we could literally be like, don't worry, I'll be your shield. We, the whole party, not just Jaria, okay? But I am going to end this episode here. I hope you've all enjoyed this one. and I will look forward to seeing you all in the very next one. I'll say goodbye for now though, and cheerio everyone. See you all soon.